Brandon Owen, and welcome to the latest edition of Encore Minute. Now, the refrain this year from all kinds of folks in the community have been, if you were ever going to buy local from an artist, do it this year. The recession has affected local artists much like it has affected local business owners, and they've all seen a drop in sales. Now, in order to promote their works, a lot of artists spoke to me for a story that ran in Thursday's edition of the Carroll County Times. While I was speaking to Cliff Losey up at Pigeon Hills Pottery outside Finksburg, he showed me how he goes about making a pot. Here it is.
The first thing the potter has to do is finish preparing the clay. They do that by pulling it up into a mountain like this. Some people call it coning up. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing the clay and I'm putting a user-friendly grain structure in it. If you do that 2 times, you generally have a pretty nice piece of clay. Then you force it down with your hands and center it into kind of a big biscuit. The water is to make the clay slippery. It's for lubrication. And this is how you get a solid ball of clay into a hollow form. You basically open it with your finger, pull on the clay, smooth the bottom down a little bit. And this is the part that everybody has trouble getting. You squeeze and lift. Down in the South, they call this pulling a pot. We call it throwing up here. Not sure why exactly we have a difference there. The tool in my hand is called a rib, and I use it because I can throw with a little more power and a little more smoothness. But for any vertical form, I'm going to make you a small flower vase. Any vertical form like this, you want to get your height and approximate thickness and then worry about the form. So as I squeeze the clay, the turning of the wheel forces it upwards into a thin wall. So you can see I've taken that ball of clay, which wasn't too big, and I've made a pretty big pot with it. Finish the lip a little bit. That's pretty much the end of the piece.
That's all for this week's Encore Minute. I'm Brandon Owen, and we'll see you again next week.